this small YouTube channel made $40,000 from YouTube in just 1 month. This one made $100,000. And this one posted only 6 videos and got so many applications to work with them they struggled to keep up. But none of this happened because they used SEO or copied other people's videos or even niched down. It happened because they all followed the exact same system that actually works to make money on YouTube now. So in this deep dive, I am going to give you that exact system. I'm going to show you why niching down doesn't work now and what to do instead. You're going to discover a free way to come up with ideas your viewers will not be able to resist. And I'm going to give you the simplest system to turn views into $1 million using one of these. A sticky note. So let's start with who this system works for. It's not going to work for entertainment channels, vloggers, or gaming channels, and it's not going to work for people who want to just make videos for search because AI has killed search. And it's also not going to work if you want to niche down, as everyone niched down to avoid the competition, which just made small niches as competitive as big ones. So that strategy is kind of dead now too. But what I'm going to show you fixes it. So here's how it works. This channel was stuck at 40 views a video, and a few months later, they hit $40,000 in a month. And their niche was growing online businesses using social media. And they had great editing and they had good ideas, but their views were just dead. So I said, look, what's your biggest achievement? And it turns out that they had built a business where people come to your home to repair things and made over $14 million doing it. So I said, look, just teach that on your channel. So they did. And a few months later, they'd started getting thousands of views and they generated $40,000 in just 1 month. But this didn't work because they niched down in the way you'd expect. It worked because they niched up. So let me explain how this works. What you need to understand is every niche on YouTube is a pyramid. At the top, you've got a really small group of channels who are getting 90% of the views. And then below them, you have thousands of others all fighting for what is left. So to get traction, you have to niche up to the top 1% now. Otherwise, you end up competing against all of the other channels in the bottom. And you get there based on what you did before you started YouTube. So in the example I just gave you, the creator had spent a decade building a very specific type of business before they ever made a video. That meant they had stories and frameworks and examples that all they needed to do is then just talk about in their content, and it instantly put them into the top 1% of the niche because nobody else has got that level of experience for that specific thing. So this is why people like Hormozy and Daniel Priestley and Natalie Dawson blew up, because they had already built big businesses and gotten results. So all they have to do is talk about that experience. The thing is, how do you find a niche that you can dominate and get into the top 1% of, and then build a channel around it that actually makes money? Well, now I'm going to give you the exact system to do just that. And to make it as practical as possible, I have created a fake channel, and we're going to run this channel through the entire system together. And the guy that owns the fake channel, let's just call him Hugh. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is work out which niche could you realistically enter the top 1% of on YouTube fastest. So to do that, all I need you to do is just write a few lines describing what you've actually achieved. So to give you an example, here is Hugh's. So Hugh started in a corporate role. He joined this company and he was doing cold calling and he doubled the business. But then he realized cold calling was really old school, so he pushed the company to do online marketing too, and they gave him that as a role. And then over the next 5 years, he built a marketing strategy that 10x that business, and it grew so fast, he ended up building and managing a team of 20 people. So I call that your backstory. It's without doubt the most important part of YouTube now if you want to make money. Then once you've got your backstory, all you do is you just ask one question. What experience in my backstory could potentially make me a top 1% channel one day? So for Hugh, if we break down his story, there's 3 options. Cold calling, because he doubled his business using it. Marketing strategy, because he 10x'd the business using it. Team building, because he built and managed a team of 20 people. Now, you might find you have 1 option. You might find you got 10. It doesn't matter. We just need 1 right now. And then in step 2, all we do is work out, is there any demand for any of your areas of expertise on YouTube? And to do that, all I'm going to do is type in marketing strategy for Hugh, and you can instantly see videos with hundreds of thousands of views. Now, it doesn't matter if you don't find that many views in your space. You only need thousands. But what you want to do is, when you're scrolling down here and you find something with a decent amount of views, right-click it. You want to copy the link and just save it to a document or a vision board like this, because we're going to come back to it in a sec. So when I did this for Hugh, I found all 3 areas had quite a lot of demand, so I just ticked them as yes. And then in step 3, what we're going to do is work out how many channels are competing for that demand. Because if there's lots of channels already fighting for it, getting into the top 1% is going to be much harder. So to check that, all you're going to do is click on the videos that you've just saved to your vision board and ask one question. Is this channel fully dedicated to my area of expertise, or just someone who's made 1 or 2 videos about it? So if we look here, this channel has made a video on marketing strategy, but look at their other one. They're not really fully committed to it. They jump around. But if we look at the cold calling space, Well, this channel has got way more content specifically on cold calling. It's almost a fully devoted channel, meaning there's likely going to be more competition as there's more videos on the topic. So at the end of this step, all you want to do is note down the number of fully devoted channels you found for each option. And what I found really weird in the marketing strategy space was there wasn't a single channel devoted to it, but loads of videos with lots of views. So for the love of puppies, someone go and make that channel. It's $1 million just sitting there waiting for you. Anyway, step 4. This is critical because this is where you're going to find out if you can actually niche up into the top 1% of one of your options. And all you do here is you audit the competition you found for their experience level. So to show you how this works, I'm going to pick on Joanne here. And if I was going to audit her for expertise, I'd do 3 things. First, I'm going to hit play on her video and I'm just going to listen to her intro because people often tell you their experience straight away.
I've generated over $500 million in sales for brands like Shopify and Canva.
Oh, great. So she's only generated 500 million, which means we're probably not going to be able to compete with that. But anyway, next what I'm going to do is check her description. And oh, look, she's an author, which means she's already figured out how to simplify complex ideas and build frameworks and tell stories, which is just going to be a massive advantage for her on YouTube. And then I'm going to click on one of her links and see what her products and services say about her. And we can see, oh, hooray, thousands of clients working with big brands. So you can see why Joanne grew really fast, right? She's done absolutely everything you need to win on YouTube before she even made a video. Now, just because this is a bad sign doesn't mean we write off that entire space yet, because we need to look at our other options too. So after doing this on the top channels I found in each of Hugh's potential spaces, I just ended up with this scorecard showing demand, competition, and experience level. So for Hugh, you can see cold calling had lots of dedicated channel and a much higher experience level. Team building had a low demand and lots of channels with more experience. And marketing strategy had high demand, barely any dedicated channels, but some people with a lot of experience too. And that brings us on to the next step. The one most people completely mess up, the biggest channel killer ever. So let me show you what I mean. So about 5 or 6 years ago, I wanted to start taking YouTube seriously, and so did a friend of mine. But I wasn't really sure what direction I should go in. So I just picked one that I had experience in and I started posting. And nothing really happened, but I just kept going and eventually things clicked and you can see here, look, boom, millions of views. But then I realized, you know what, this is dumb. I think there's a better way for me going forward. So I completely pivoted and I started a new channel from scratch. And this decision went on to generate over $9 million. My friend though, 5 years later, they are still trying to figure out the perfect niche for them to start on. And that is the truth about picking a direction here. You must never pick the perfect one straight away. It's nearly impossible. So the way this works is you pick one, you start posting, you learn from every video, and then you let that process lead you on your journey to the top 1% of it. So in this step, do not overanalyze anything. Just pick one of those options you like the look of the most and commit to posting it once a week for years, and you'll find your way there. So Hugh's going to pick marketing strategy. And that brings us on to the next step. And now what we're going to do is we're going to start making content. But this is another step where most people make a decision that will completely wreck its results. And I want to make sure you're not one of them. So let me show you how to absolutely nail this using one of these. A sticky note. So first, what I need you to do is imagine you're a viewer who has a marketing problem. You don't know why your marketing just isn't working and you're struggling to find the time to fix it and you're not even sure if you should be on one platform or loads of others. So you go to YouTube to find help and you watch a video on marketing strategy and you think, you know what, that was great. So you click on the channel to see what else they've made. But you find their next video was on Instagram, and then the next one on sales, and the next one on mindset. So you leave because none of those videos relate to the problem that you care about right now. But now imagine the same situation, but this time you land on a channel and you see this. How to create $1 million one-platform marketing strategy. The ultimate marketing strategy when you have no time. 5 reasons your marketing strategy isn't working. You would binge this channel because it feels like they're reading your mind, right? And that's the truth about channels that make the big money from YouTube. They feel like mind readers to their viewers because they call out the exact problems their viewers have and show them how to fix it over and over again. So how do you build a channel that does that really well? Well, all you do is you take a sticky note and at the top, you write the age of your target buyers. So for Hugh, that's age 40 to 55. Then what you do is you put down their experience level, which for Hugh is beginners. And then after that, you just write the top 3 problems you think those viewers care about the most. Now, the simplest way to work out what those 3 problems might be is to grab the prompt from below the description of this video, and whilst you're down there, hit like and subscribe. Then just paste it into whatever AI you use and fill in the gaps and it's going to give you 3 things to write down. So when I did this for Hugh, ChatGPT came back with 3 problems, which were not seeing results, even though they're doing everything right, not having enough time, and not knowing what to say to attract buyers, which pretty much is exactly the same thing I came up with. So it's on the sticky note, and believe it or not, this sticky note is about to become your entire YouTube strategy and your business strategy for making money too. Because every single decision we will make from now on is going to use this. All right, so once that's written, just put it somewhere you can see it. I'm going to whack it there on my laptop, which brings us on to step 7, which is using your sticky note to find video ideas your target buyers will actually want to watch. And this is where a lot of people destroy their views potential, because they come up with ideas by going on YouTube and looking at what got views and then making their own version of it. But let me just show you why that does not work. So I've created 2 brand new YouTube accounts here. On the first one, I pretended to be a 20-year-old man. On the second, a 30-year-old woman. And what I did was I searched the exact same things on both accounts. But then I only clicked on videos that I thought a 20-year-old man or a 30-year-old woman would actually want to watch. And then after doing that, just look how different their home pages are. Account 1 looks like Scamfest 2021. It's full of bro marketers. And then account 2, always busy thumbnails and women talking authentically at home. Both are completely different, even though both accounts watched content on the exact same problem. Now, this happens because YouTube records what you watch, and then it shows you what it believes you'll watch more of based on your watch history. And from tracking millions of people, it knows some viewer types need option 1 and others need option 2. So this is why you must not come up with ideas by looking at what gets views and then coming up with your own version, as your target viewer might hate what you copy. So the right way to ideate is to find videos with lots of views, and then you use your sticky note as a filter and you ask, would this person watch that video? If the answer is no, you don't make it just because it has views, but how do you know what your sticky note viewer actually wants to watch? Well, here's a trick that I've used for years. Create a brand new YouTube channel, like I just did. It has to be new. Then pretend to be your ideal viewer, the person on this sticky note, and then search one of the problems you've got on it. So for Hugh, I'm going to just type in new marketing strategy, and we're going to scroll until we find a recent video of lots of views. And then we're going to ask, will Hugh's sticky note viewer be interested in that? And I think the answer is yes. And that's what people over 40 like watching. Really, they're serious about fixing their problem with strategy and depth. So that looks appealing. Then what we will do is we'll just click on this and we'll watch it all the way to the end. And we're going to repeat this 3 to 5 more times, only ever watching what we believe our sticky note viewer would click on. Then what happens is YouTube's going to notice this account loves a certain type of content and it's going to start serving more of it on the homepage. So when we go to Hugh's homepage, look, it's exactly what his ideal viewers are watching. We've got title ideas, thumbnail styles, topics, meaning the YouTube homepage is now all he needs to come up with video ideas. So Hugh would go and pick a title, change it slightly, come up with the thumbnail using the patterns he found and move on to step 8. It's something that just became 10 times more important thanks to some changes. So what's happened is to combat AI slop, YouTube now looks at every video you post alongside the other top videos on the topic to see if it's just repeating what is already out there or bringing something new to the table. If you're not bringing anything new, it's just going to keep pushing the old videos instead of yours. So just remaking a popular video, but slightly different, like the old advice kind of taught us, that doesn't work anymore. Now what you need to do is this. So let's use Hugh as an example again. He wants to make a video on the best marketing strategy for 2026. So the first thing he needs to do is find the top viewed videos on that topic from the last 12 months. Then he needs to watch them and note down what they all spoke about and what the comments liked and what was missing. He could then create this new kind of experience. But that takes ages, so instead you can use the free AI bot I've made you, the link's in below. All you do is you throw in the transcript to the videos you want to look at, and it's going to analyze the video, it's going to read the comments, it's going to tell you what they love, it's going to show you what questions they ask, what the video covered and what was missing. And you do that on 3 to 5 videos on the topic, then ask the bot what the biggest gap across all of them was, and it's going to help you work out what to add to your video to make it feel new. Then once you've done that, you move on to step 9, and messing this up is not going to just stop people watching, it's actually going to make them think that your product or service isn't right for them either, so you won't end up earning as much if you mess this up. And I discovered this problem a while ago when I made a video, and in it I said, make sure you promote your offer in your YouTube description. And I got a ton of comments saying, Eds, what's an offer? And it turns out the word offer is too advanced for a lot of people. It caused confusion. So now I only ever say product or service when talking to beginners. And that's the truth about YouTube. One word can turn people off. So it's really important you do your best to make sure every line of your video is understandable to your perfect viewers. And the only way you can really catch yourself making this mistake is to present from bullet points off the cuff. Not. That is why so many channels fail. Because how can you possibly vet every word coming out of your mouth to make sure it doesn't turn viewers off, whilst also working out what to say and how to say it? You can't unless you've been doing this for a decade. So once you've planned your idea, what you do is you write a script. Then you go through it with your sticky note, and every line you look at it and you just ask, is that too advanced to the people on here, or too hard to follow? Or is there a word that's going to put them off? And if the answer is no, you move on to the next line and repeat. So look, Hugh, the fool, wrote omni-channel marketing in his script, and his viewers are beginners. So we would turn that into using multiple social media platforms, which is hard to say. He also referenced a film from the 1950s, because he's a filmophile, that most of his audience won't, is that a word? That most of his audience aren't going to know, so we're going to cut that as well. Now, these are really, really easy mistakes to make, but they are the difference between views and sales and whether or not your viewers come back. And that brings us on to step 10. Producing your videos in a way that makes your perfect viewer instantly think, I want to keep watching this. And this is a massive shift I'm seeing on YouTube right now, and a lot of people are underestimating the power of. And it works like this. So this is David McEwen. He's been doing very well, and he's been making videos for years, and they look like this. But then one day, whilst doing the research, I literally just showed you how to do. He noticed boring old school whiteboard style videos were picking up a lot of steam in his niche. So he tried out a style and gave the exact same kind of information he always had, but he just presented it from a whiteboard this time. And look at that. His channel just went to another level with views, and he's also transformed his business too. So here's what you need to do. Don't go and make whiteboard videos just because David got results with them. So instead, you go to your new YouTube account, you look at the new account homepage you created, and just pay attention to the production quality getting traction with your viewers. Is it polished, like Layla Hormozi? Is it academic looking, like Nerd of Knowledge? Or maybe it's just people sitting on their living room floor having a good old chin wag, like Jill's here. Because the style that your ideal viewers love is the style you should be producing. So for Hugh, in the marketing strategy space, what he noticed was the kind of scrappy look that worked 18 months ago doesn't pull in the views like it did, but he noticed the channels getting traction were very professional looking, very well lit. They almost had like masterclass style looking content. So that's the direction he's going to keep going in. And that brings us on to step 11. You're going to turn your channel into a community of fans who beg to buy your product or service. And all you have to almost said offer, and all you have to do to achieve this is post consistently. But before you go, oh my gosh, I've heard this a million times before, nobody talks about the real reason consistency matters when it comes to making money from YouTube. So let me show you its real impact. On screen right now, this is an application I received for an old program I used to sell. But pay close attention to this line. She said, I've been hoping you'd put something like this out. Can you imagine how much easier it's going to be to make money when people watching you are actually hoping you will sell them something? But posting consistently once a week is not what got that result. The reason that happened is because every video I made, I looked at it after and went, why did it perform in that way? So if it got less views, I'd ask why. If it got more than I expected, I'd ask why. And I'd figure out the lesson and then carry it into the next video. So video by video, I started to understand way more about what these sticky note people cared about. So my content improved, and that is why consistency matters, because it helps you learn faster. And if you don't post regularly enough, you can't learn fast enough to get traction. And after you've consistently posted and asked why for 12 to 18 months, this is where you're going to start to see thousands of viewers come back to your channel, to every single video you make. And that's when you're going to be ready to start making money. But over that time period, you also need to be doing something else. And this is going to help you generate income from YouTube anytime you need it. And it solves the biggest problem YouTube has when it comes to making money, which is YouTube is without question the best platform in the world for warming people up, but it's a terrible place to sell because videos take ages to make, you don't own your audience, and YouTube can just stop pushing your content anytime it wants. So the channel's making big money, just like all of these examples I'm showing you on screen right now. They didn't do it by building a YouTube audience. They did it by using YouTube to move people somewhere else so that they can sell fast, easily, and on their own terms. And here's my strike. 96K I made in 40 minutes. That happened because I moved people from YouTube onto my email list, and then I kept giving them a load of free value, and then when I was ready to sell, I just sent them one email. The thing is, I don't think you should do the same as me, because if your sticky note viewer isn't someone who uses their email much, this isn't going to work. So instead, you need to think of another option. So Iman Godzi, for example, he told me his 900,000 email list made him nothing compared to his WhatsApp groups. Other people are using the same kind of strategy, but with free school communities, and others are using Discord. If your viewers are under 20, this might be a better version for them too. So what matters is at this stage, you pick the platform your viewers actually use, and to help you brainstorm and work out what that platform might be, there's another prompt below this video. Copy and paste it, throw it into whatever AI you use, and it's going to give you some ideas. For Hugh, it said email, which makes sense, so we picked that. And that brings us on to step 14, which is going to make you $1 million from YouTube, but I need to be honest with you about something first. Most people fail here because what they do is they go and make a product or a service about what they think is a good idea, and then they launch it and nobody ever buys it. Instead, what you want to use is the snowball technique, and this took me from 0 to 9 million generated from YouTube in just over 4 years. Pardon me, hiccuping. Was that a burp? So when I started getting return viewers and my email list was growing, I didn't launch a big expensive program. I didn't launch anything I thought was a good idea. I just started selling a simple 1-hour call to people that they could book in under my video. And then on those calls, I basically noticed every single person had the same problem. So I built a little 2-hour workshop to solve it, and it sold out very fast. I then got feedback and I listened to what people needed next. And then I built something bigger based on what they were telling me their problems were. So a $30 workshop snowballed into a $150 workshop, a $150 workshop snowballed into a $3,000 program, a $3,000 program snowballed into a 10K offer, and everything I've ever made has sold out because all I ever did was speak to my viewers, find out what problem they had, and then made something that solved it. So to use the snowball technique to get yourself to $1 million, all you need to do is, guess what? Look at your sticky note. Just pick one of the problems on it and create the simplest offer to solve it. For Hugh, that's going to be a 60-minute marketing strategy session where he shows people exactly why their marketing isn't working, and then he finds one thing that will fix it, and guess what? That addresses all 3 problems on his sticky note. I know it sounds simple, but that's literally all you have to do. The thing is, everything I've just showed you is just the basics of how this game works for businesses. If you are ready for the full system, one that builds on every single step, one that uses AI and tools and goes much deeper on strategy, want to watch this video next. I'm going to show you the pro version. All of the examples I've used to get massive success.